Welcome, I'm Yvonne Davis. I am a professional astrologer and author of The Power of Manifestation, Creating a Life You Love, and many other books about transformation and the nature of reality. So today I'm going to talk about astrology and manifestation and how you can use the astrological alignments in your manifestations. So I'm going to start by pulling up a chart we will talk about. Okay, so this is actually today's alignments, and what I want to look at specifically is this energy in Aries. We've got the moon, it's just moved into Aries, and then Mars, which is the ruler of Aries, and Uranus. And as you can see, these two are moving into a conjunction. Now, as the moon moves across Aries, it will square Venus and Saturn and then Pluto. And then finally, Mars will conjoin Uranus. So if you're watching this in early February, I'm making this video on February 8th, 2019. So if you're watching this in early February, then you can keep that in mind. But this really applies to any time you see particularly the moon or Mars in Aries, because the moon rules our emotions and our subconscious, and Mars is the warrior. So we get a lot of fiery energy when we have these planets in Aries. And now in particular, we also have Uranus, which is finishing its transit through Aries, and it will move out on March 6th and into Taurus. So it won't be back in Aries for at least 80 to 84 years, something like that, because it takes 84 years to go all the way around the zodiac. So so it's going to be a while. I'm guessing for most of us, we may not see it again unless you're extremely young right now watching this. So the next time Mars will conjoin Uranus will be in Taurus. So we can see what that energy looks like. It will be different than when it's meeting in Aries. When it meets in Aries, it can be very volatile. So that's why I want to talk about these planets and their energy when they're in Aries, because it's a very hot, fiery energy that can sometimes have a favorable side in the sense that it will motivate you to get things done. On the downside, it can bring up feelings of anger, frustration, resentment. I would say virtually any flavor of anger. So you might be watching yourself from now through the weekend up to February 13th and beyond, because the energies take a while to build and then release. So they get the most intense when they are conjoined, but they last for a little while afterward too, and building up to it. So you can't just look at one day. You kind of have to look at the whole week and a little bit beyond. So especially with this moon coming in, our emotions and our subconscious, and then as it squares Venus, we may feel that. And then Saturn would tend to have an emotion like sadness, disappointment, sort of dark, seeing the dark side of life, a little bit of despair, sometimes even depression. I'm not saying everyone will feel this. I'm just saying that sometimes that can flavor the way we feel about life. And then Pluto can have frustration around feelings of powerlessness. So you want to keep that in mind, because all throughout the time that the moon and Mars and Uranus are in Aries, we're going to be feeling, it's going to spark up this energy. So the combination of the three makes it even more intense. So you can be watching that if those kinds of feelings are coming up. And understand that this energy, this fiery energy, is simply meant to help us to see where we need to make changes in our lives and to give us the energy to do that. But what we want to do is direct it in a positive and constructive way so that we can benefit from that energy, rather than in a destructive way in which all we succeed in doing is making life harder for ourselves. So we want to really be paying attention to this kind of energy and where it's showing up in our lives so that we can make beneficial use of it. So really quick, I want to talk a little bit about this idea of where we focus our attention for our manifestations and how we perceive what's happening in our lives. So when you think about the energy of Mars, and if you know, and the Moon and Uranus, and if you feel this kind of angry, fiery energy coming up, just look closely at what's triggering that and see if, try to really own that and to not project it onto the world outside of you, even if it feels legitimate. I've certainly had a couple of situations that did feel legitimate, and but the thing about it is I recognize that if I blame the world or other people or circumstances for something that I'm not particularly happy about, all I'm doing is giving my power away. And what I want to do is take responsibility, because when I'm responsible, then I am able to respond to the situation. And that is true power. That is true abundance. So when you're focusing your attention, sometimes you do focus on things that maybe aren't working right or where there's some lack. And it's not that we can't, because as an example, I needed to do some car repairs this week. So I have to acknowledge that there is a problem there in order to be able to fix it. Because if I don't acknowledge it, I can't fix it. So, you know, so you can't just ignore things. And yeah, and I felt some frustration, but then it's like, well, this is the way life is. So I can just like really get down about it, or I can focus my attention on abundance and say, yeah, at least I have a car. Some people don't even have a car. At least I have the resources to do the repairs. You know, what if I didn't have those resources? Then I'd be in really bad shape. So really trying to focus on what's working and where the abundance is so that I can continue to make progress toward my goals in life. So I am suggesting that this week, or whenever you see this video, that you think about where you're focusing your attention and watch the emotions that come up. And if you notice anger coming up, or even, like I said, other flavors like disappointment, frustration, just ask yourself, what is it you care about? What's underneath that you really care about, that really matters to you? And touch in with that thing that matters to you, what you care about deeply, and give yourself empathy around that. Don't ever try to squelch, you know, or repress your feelings, because that will actually just make it worse. But just acknowledge, this is the way I'm feeling, and think about what's important to me and why I may be feeling angry or disappointed, and then use that energy in a way to really focus on what's good in your life and what you can do to make your life better. So that's why I want to think about where we focus our attention and the energy that we bring to it, because the energy that we surround our attention with is how we create our manifestation. So this is about not just looking at the stuff that is easy to look at, because it's the stuff that we really want. We want to focus our attention on what we want. But what happens when something comes up that does bring up feelings of sadness, anger, disappointment, etc.? How do you work with that energy so that you can continue to build that positive, really, that energy of love, passion, gratitude, abundance, all of that. So to build that energy around what you're focusing your attention on, so that you can continue to move forward in a way that is creating the manifestations that you want to create. So if you have any questions about what I brought up today, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I will do my best to respond to all of the comments. So thank you for watching, and it's a pleasure to work with you, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.